Okay, let's start with a question. What if your greatest rival was also your deepest secret?
I want you to forget everything you think you know about sports rivalries. Seriously, because this isn't a story about a battle on the ice. Oh no. This is about a war fought completely in the shadows. A war where the one person you're supposed to absolutely destroy is the only one who actually sees the real you.
All right, picture this. The year is 2011. On one side, you've got Shane Hollander, basically Canada's golden boy, a hero in the making. And on the other, Ilya Rozanov, the Russian villain everyone just loves to hate. I mean, they were set up from day one to be enemies, right? The two biggest names of their generation. But destiny had something else entirely in mind.
Just look at this. It's the perfect way to see their totally fractured lives. I mean, imagine drawing a line straight down the middle. On one side, you've got the public show, all the body checks, the reporters going crazy. But on the other side, behind closed doors, that's where the real war was. A secret that, believe me, burned way hotter than any spotlight in an arena.
So, to deal with this, they built a wall, a massive wall between their two worlds. It was supposed to be their system, right? An emotionless escape hatch from all that crushing pressure of being famous. The rules were simple. No feelings, no connection, just a shared secret. But you know what they say about walls? They're meant to be broken. And listen, this wall didn't just fall down overnight. No way. This timeline, it shows a slow 10-year demolition job. It all kicks off with this spark of just raw tension back in 2011. By 2014, that spark has hardened into a full-blown ritual. But then you get to 2017, and you start to see the first cracks appearing. And those cracks lead to a breaking point that literally changes everything.
Yeah, they had a code, a strict set of rules, and the whole point was to keep their two worlds from ever colliding. Rule 1, meet only in anonymous hotels. Rule 2, never speak a single word. And then go right back to being mortal enemies on the ice. It was supposed to be a perfect, impenetrable fortress. Or, so they thought.
So where did that first major crack appear? Well, it wasn't in some sterile hotel room. It was in a home. And in that quiet moment, for the first time, the masks just slipped. And Shane Hollander had this stunning realization. This guy, his biggest rival, was the only person on the entire planet he didn't have to perform for.
Okay, fast forward to 2017. This is huge. Ilya wins the Stanley Cup, the ultimate prize in hockey. He has everything he ever wanted, right? The one thing he sacrificed his entire life for. But there was one thing missing, the one thing that actually mattered. Because the only person who truly understood what that victory cost him was his sworn enemy.
And that right there, that brings us to the real heart of this story. Who were the men behind the masks? Because those public personas, they were just armor. And that armor was starting to get some serious dents. So first you've got Shane. Shane wasn't just a hockey player. He was a prisoner of his own perfection. Think of it like being trapped in a golden cage. He was totally convinced that his entire worth as a person was measured only in goals and trophies. He was just desperate to win this approval that deep down he could never actually feel.
And then there's Ilya. Oh, Ilya, the villain everyone loved to hate, right? But behind that whole mask of aggression was just a guy who was desperate to be loved. A guy who pushed people away because he was absolutely terrified they were just going to leave him anyway. So, the breaking point finally comes when the real world just smashes right through their fortress. Shane gets a career-threatening injury. And Ilya breaks their number one rule. He sends a text. It was just a few words, but it was enough to completely shatter their entire world.
And just like that one single act of care puts them on this unavoidable collision course. It's all leading to one final showdown with absolutely everything they've ever worked for on the line. Okay, I want you to imagine a pressure cooker, because that's what's happening here. The heat is on, the steam is building, and you just know something is about to explode. You've got public pressure, career stakes, and their private feelings. All of them are cranked way, way into the red zone. There is literally nowhere left to hide. And in that moment, boom, everything changes. The rivalry, the secrets, the lies, it all just melts away in the heat of that battle. And what's left behind? Just the truth. And the truth was, those 10 years of hiding, it wasn't about pressure. It was about love. So Ilya lays it all out. He gives Shane a choice. A challenge, really. It was a choice between the life he was supposed to want, the one built on what everyone else thinks, and the life he actually deserved. A real life, with him. And that choice, that brings us to the final lesson we can take from all this. Because their story, it's not just about them. It's actually a blueprint for figuring out how to navigate our own lives. So what's the takeaway here? Well, here are 4 steps to living a more authentic life, inspired by them. First, and this is a big one, stop auditioning for a crowd and start living for yourself. Second, embrace the people who challenge you. Seriously, they're the ones who see you the best. Third, you gotta redefine what winning actually means to you, not to anyone else. And finally, number 4, play the long game. Real change takes time. Be patient with yourself. So I'm gonna leave you with this one question to think about. We all wear masks, right? We do it to survive, to perform, to win. But who is it in your life that challenges you to be real, to take the mask off? Think about it. Find that person. And when you do, never let them go.